Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker Fan Sports Show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast. I'm your host, David Gaspers, and I'm with Boomer.
Well, we're glad all of our listeners could join us for our very special episode tonight. We're doing a retrospective of the Kenny Minchey era here at Nebraska Sports. And we're all done, so thank you for joining the Go Big Redcast. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. That's how the portal works these days, Boomer. Abbie.
Yeah, welcome to the world where Nebraska lives now in fear of being court stormed, not court storming people.
Go Big Red.
Hey, those are crazy times for certain. And also the Redcast Rob.
Well, you know, the fact of the matter is that it is now January 6th, 2026. Nebraska ball hasn't lost a game in so long that I actually don't remember what I was doing that day. But then again, I don't remember what I was doing earlier today. So,
well, hopefully you remember a few things, Rob. But that tracks with you pretty much. So it has been a while. I guess probably last March sometime. And we'll get to basketball here shortly because we can talk about a 15-0 Nebraska basketball team as long as you want, pretty much, right? But in the world of college football, the portal happens so fast. If we don't start talking about some of these players now, they'll leave by tomorrow. So let's get talking, right? Boomer, you alluded to this. Obviously, in a 24-hour period, we went and got our first quarterback out of the transfer portal, Kenny Minchey, backup from Notre Dame. Lots of potential. Everyone's excited about him. 24 hours later, he decides he likes Will Stein and the new Kentucky regime better than us and leaves. And less than 24 hours after that, we have a new transfer portal quarterback. And who is that?
Currently, as of this show, 9:09 p.m. Central, our portal quarterback is Anthony Colandrea, previously starter at UNLV and had a couple of years at Virginia as well. So I think, was he the Mountain West Player of the Year, or at least quarterback of the year, I believe? So,
Mountain West Player of the Year. He may transfer tomorrow, but that will not be taken away from him.
We can raise a banner at least, at least for a very
2025.
Vegas Jer and UNLV alumni is super excited. As he said, strange times we live in. That was what he said when I asked him for feedback on that.
All right.
My Virginia friends have said he is a bit of a wild card. Can scramble, is a little chaotic.
You might say. Yeah.
He is a F it, somebody's down there somewhere type of quarterback. So
we've seen that before. Yes. So, yeah.
Brett Favre made the Hall of Fame doing that.
We're bringing back the YOLO bomb. No, Colandrea, his first 2 years of Virginia, he did start as a true freshman, I believe, and was known as the Whoopsie Daisy King by some in the sports media. That was his nickname by Tom Fornelli of CBS Sports, because he would just throw it up there and see if we get caught or intercepted. So he did not have a great TD-INT ratio at Virginia, but a Mountain West Player of the Year has to do something right. He turned that around. Still threw 9 INTs, but it had 23 touchdowns and over 3,400 yards passing. Another 500 rushing, and that includes sacks. So, I mean, I would say, Boomer, that if we go back to our discussion a month or so ago about what we're looking for in the transfer portal, and you look at Kirk Cignetti and say, I want production over potential, Colandrea actually has more production in his resume than Kenny Minchey, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the big question: is what approach do you want to take with the portal? Are you looking for that, gem you can develop? Some guy that Minchey seems like he had a lot of stuff coming out of high school, but he's never started a game, and I mean, how much time has he even seen at Notre Dame? Just a few mop-up plays. So
Yeah.
you don't know what exactly he offers to college. Colandria's probably, well, he is a more of a known factor. You've got film on him. He's got 3 years under his belt. 2 at a Power 4 school. Granted it's Virginia, which kind of counts as a Power 4 school, I guess. But we'll take it for what it's worth at this point. So you've got something to go on here, and that was the question. What are you looking for in the portal? Do you want somebody? And I guess this will be the question that people are going to have. And I kind of broached it on Twitter earlier. I don't think you bring in a guy like this to have a quarterback competition. He's got 1 year left. He's not going to go someplace where he's at risk of, sitting on the sideline with a clipboard, unless he just wants to pocket $1 million in NIL money and not do anything. But that seems unlikely, I would think. So I fully expect him to be the starter next year, barring something crazy happening. But
yeah,
you
Rob,
don't bring in a guy with 1 year left to sit. So
go ahead, Abby.
I think that's a good thing. Like I like TJ. I just think like TJ came in knowing that he was probably going to sit for a couple years, right? Like, because the expectation is that we were going to have, not the expectation. The thought was we would have Dylan for 3 years, right? So TJ was going to redshirt and then sit for a year, and he didn't get to redshirt because of the injury or whatever. So you wonder how much of this is just like you already kind of expect, like from TJ's perspective, like already kind of knew that this could happen. You get another year to develop, because I just think I know he had a hamstring problem, but like you just kind of saw in the games that he played, it didn't look the way that you'd like your quarterback to look yet. So I think another year of sitting and learning and developing will be really good for TJ. I also just like experience. I mean, if you look at the college football playoff, those aren't freshmen, those aren't sophomores, those are guys who have lots of experience playing, and I think that's a good thing.
And all transfer.
Sorry, Dave. Yeah, and I was going to say that the one thing that I like about him that you can see is that this year over his 2024 season, he showed a lot of improvement. He threw for about 1,300 more yards, increased his average yard per throw almost a yard and a half, from 6.6 to 8.3. Most importantly, in 2024, he threw 13 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. In 2025, he threw 23 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. Right. So, I mean, that is to me the stats that sit out there, because we live in a world in the Big Ten where turnovers are a big no-no. And so, the fewer the turnovers, the better. Obviously. I mean, you could say that anywhere, but in the Big Ten, especially in the Big Ten West, like, as we like to joke around saying still exists, when you're playing 9-6 games in the fourth quarter, and there's only 8 minutes left, you really have to know how to hold on to the ball and keep it. Some of his rushing stats too are pretty interesting, because he looks like the kind of guy that runs when he needs to, not it's one of those situations where there's some games
opportunistic.
Yes, thank you, Dave. Opportunistic. And I mean, and when he does, he's averaging 5 to 10 yards a rush. It's not, so that
he'll break some big runs off.
Yeah, I think like one of his longest last year was 25 yards or something like that, right? And a touchdown. So it's like he's a guy that
against Colorado State here. Actually, I remember that game.
Yeah,
he walloped Colorado State, which is not saying much, but he had a huge day, I believe, four touchdowns, and that's the game I remember thinking, hey, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I was just gonna say my big question will be, we did see improvement from his first 2 years to now. So if you're gonna have a question about it, you could ask, was that because he switched from playing in a Power 4 conference to the Mountain West, and the defenses arguably were easier? Like, I don't even think they played San Diego State.
That'll be the question.
Yeah. So can he take what he did at a Mountain West school and carry that into a Big Ten season where he's
experience is experience, right? I mean, at that point too. I mean,
true.
The trend these days
is coaching, but it's different,
coaching,
right? Dan Mullen was his coach there. Mullen's good with quarterbacks. Will he have the same response to Dana and Glenn Thomas, et cetera, here? We don't know. I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons Minchie took Kentucky, is Will Stein has a better track record to getting guys into the NFL, right? So I don't know. We're going to find out. He doesn't have the body type he lists him at 6 feet, so we all know he's 5'11".
Yeah, it's funny. ESPN lists him at 5'11", so he's probably 5'9".
Yeah. and 205, and he is not afraid of contact either. So I mean, I wouldn't. TJ better be ready to go in at some point because he will be hurdling people and dodging people and on all those sort of things. So it'll be a fun style of football to watch. We will not be bored with screens and things in the flat with this guy. But
well, let's not rule anything out with Holgerson, Dave. You never know. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that's a great question, Boomer. And if you remember, in Rule's first year, Satterfield, as we were cycling through, was it? I might even have my years wrong here. It might have been the year in transition where it was under Mickey. But when did we have Chubba Purdy? Did he play under Satterfield, or was it only under
Whipple?
Whipple.
That was Whipple's
That's
guy.
right. It was Whipple.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abbie. And Chubba probably showed the most potential that year to actually win a few football games, but Whipple never trusted him to play within system, and that's why he was gone. I'll be curious to see how well Calandria plays within Holgerson's system and how often he breaks from that. That'll be an interesting question to kind of see as
Well, we can only hope.
Yeah. And do you have any concerns about Latif entering a portal now? I don't know. I mean, you can't judge anything anymore or predict anything.
Yeah, I
Is that a
have no
possibility?
idea.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I made the case to folks that were listening to me, 48 hours ago that we signed Minchie. He's got 2 years to go. It's a 1-year contract. We'll have a quarterback competition because I didn't think, since he didn't have as much of a track record, that it was a legit QB competition with Latif, and one of them will win and the other will transfer out the following January, right? This is a little bit different. Calandria likely just has 1 year. He has no red shirt to use. So I think Latif might feel even more comfortable sitting behind the guy because he knows he'll be back at the opportunities of the following January.
Latif was a true freshman too, you know what I mean? And he burned his red shirt doing it. And it's like I would hope, that even he sees this as like, what an opportunity, right? Like as a true freshman to come in here, be the starter, take us up through the bowl game. I know that it didn't end the way that, all Husker fans hoped it would. He didn't, I mean, it's not an easy thing. He's an 18, 19-year-old kid just, stepping onto the field there in the middle of the season behind, highly touted guy like Raiola. And pretty much, we're expecting them to change the entire offensive system that they've been running all year to fit his style of play, right? Like ideally that's what would have happened. And I'm kind of hoping that now with bringing in, the new guy and having Latif there as well, that maybe, they do make some adjustments here in the offseason that will make it.
Oh, it's clear that they're going to a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just curious to see
to
see how Holgerson adjusts to that, right? Like
he's had him before.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'll be all right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my take. I don't know. Abbie, do you want to run through who else we have already signed? Let's not talk about who we lost because we don't care about those guys any longer. But who did we sign?
We have signed, let's see. So according to On3. So if there's new ones that have come across Twitter, they may not be on On3 yet.
Oh, don't worry. Boomer will break it for us.
That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so we have signed. Let's go. So we signed Brendan Black, an O lineman from Iowa State. We got Tree Babalade. I'm not going to pronounce that.
We'll just call him Tree.
That's a fun name.
Great first name, Tree.
So that's a nick. So this is what I read on Reddit. Is that's a nickname because he was so because he was so tall, he got nicknamed Tree. Love it. I love it. I'm going to consider that as a great nickname. So we got him. When I learn how to pronounce his name, it's going to be fun to say, from South Carolina. We talked about our quarterback. We got Dwayne McDougal III, I believe, from San Diego. Dexter Foster from Oregon State, and Will Hawthorne, also from Iowa State, and then Owen Chambliss from San Diego.
Yeah.
So that's a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4 linebackers, couple of linemen, safety.
Does any of
some
that
places
surprise
do
you?
improve.
I mean, for what we've signed so far, I know the portal still goes for about a week. I mean, we don't see any defensive linemen. We don't see any running
Not
backs.
yet.
I think those are all things that we
We
identified
need some
as.
D linemen.
Yeah, we need positions of need there.
I know
Granted,
we
unless
have
some
some.
guys can come back.
I know we
but-
have some coming on a visit. I know. I mean, I don't read all. I don't pay for those subscriptions, so I don't know. But I've read that we've got some on visits, so we'll see if some of them sign relatively soon.
Gotcha. I guess I haven't even paid attention. What running backs are out there? I guess of note. I'm not even sure. So,
Dowdell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood Smothers was probably the number one running back out there. He just signed with Alabama today. But yeah, it's tough to
What, those losers, the
see.
Tide? I mean, why would you want to go there? So
I know. Exactly.
can't win there anymore.
There were also
Oh, look.
who was it? There was another running back that came out. Was it out of LSU or a playoff team like Mississippi State or something like that? Like, or Ole Miss. There was a somebody that came off of their.
He opted
I can't
out.
remember.
Remember?
I think
Yeah.
Oregon had some running backs say he was going to go to the portal today. if I
Oregon
remember
did
right.
too. Yeah,
it's-
I mean,
it's-
there's there are quite a few of those.
can we just
but
talk about how stupid this portal time is?
It is
I mean,
so dumb.
this whole sport is just such a disaster when it comes to this. I know all the coaches and schools apparently wanted this single portal time in the winter, but God, did they not think this through? I mean, this is a train wreck for everybody involved: coaches, players, schools, fans. How does any of this make sense? I mean, you've got teams in the playoff where players are entering the portal. I mean, how you got coaching staffs leaving? You had the whole mess with LSU saying some of the Ole Miss assistants aren't allowed to coach anymore in the postseason.
It's
Some
an
of them are.
absolute disaster.
Yeah. I mean, this is such a mess. So that's got to be fixed.
So
I think the number one running back
top
on the
running
board is
back-
Dylan. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, is who?
For us, I would say that who's left is Dylan Edwards, the K-State guy.
Yeah,
That'd be
maybe-
phenomenal.
I think that's who I saw. Dave, thank you. I knew it was a Midwest kid, and I just couldn't remember out of which state that he came. So
Did Minnesota have
There's
a running
a-
back into
there's
the
a
portal?
kid
I
from,
know that's what I thought.
Minnesota did too.
Minnesota?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Iowa, their team captain and like top safety.
Yeah, that was weird too.
He left today too. He entered the portal just out of
really?
nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't. Did he sign anywhere yet or no?
No, but yeah, it's funny because it was like yeah.
Yeah, we need
It
depth there,
just
no doubt
don't know.
about it.
Yeah.
Well, I know Coy, and then that Minnesota Coy whatever his name is. I don't know.
Koi Perch? That'd be two
He,
fish
like-
names. That would be insane.
That doesn't feel correct, but whatever his name is, I don't know. Look, that's what I'm going to call him because you should ask Dustin the way I mispronounce names all the time. We were trying to guess, like, he was testing me on who all the Big Ten basketball coaches were. And I was over here like, yeah, Steve Pinkle. And he goes, that's not even, no, it's Pickle. And I'm like, yeah, Pickle. I cannot say these names correctly. Like, it's not even
But
funny
you can't be
anymore.
worse than Honky or Hunky, however you like to say his name.
Yeah, and Entringer, Cohen Entringer from Iowa entered the portal.
Oh, is that who that? Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
All right. Well, we'll see. We still have another week or so of madness with the transfer portal, I think it's a matter of talent evaluation here. We called this. We said that they're going to go big in the portal, and we're going to at least have, I'd say, 12, if not maybe 15 guys come in, and they are hoping for a big chunk of those to be contributing or starting. So we'll see where it goes. And it's definitely an important time for Rule and his staff if they want to have success here. All right, guys. Anything else on football you want to talk about?
No.
Excited?
Oh, still there, Dave? We lost you there briefly.
yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yes,
You're
you're
good.
back.
Yep.
Okay.
We're excited,
saying, are you
excited
excited
for.
for
We're always
the-
excited. Yeah. So.
The semifinals.
I mean, if they could stretch us out any longer, I'd feel a little better about it. I mean, my God.
Yeah,
I mean,
push it back another week. Why are we
yeah,
having to
just
do them
a-
already?
weeks. At least go into February nowadays. I mean, my
just-
Lord, guys.
Can we just talk about like baseball and softball starts in a month and we're
Yes.
still playing football? That's stupid.
Yes, Division III
That's
had their
awful.
championship on Sunday, and they have a 40-team playoff, and they managed to get this done in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, my God.
High school basketball season will be almost over by the time
Yeah.
that college football ends.
So
Yeah.
stupid.
It's
The Super Bowl. The
ridiculous.
We're
Super Bowl
halfway
is
through
like right
basketball.
around the time that the is high school basketball championship starts. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we're plotting seeding for March Madness, and we're still playing football.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Yeah.
God. But yeah,
Well, we'll turn the page here to March Madness in just a second. Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll save that off-season discussion of how we fix the playoff and how do we fix the postseason and all that. I think that would be multiple shows worth. But I do see that at least what we have here with these 4 remaining teams is that it is a new era. The playoffs and NIL have changed the game, whether it's all for good or bad. It's probably somewhere in the middle, but it is not the same 4 teams that we got used to over the last decade. And that is refreshing.
I mean, when
it was
Indiana is the outright favorite to win the national championship.
yeah. It was kind of fascinating. I saw someone put up a list of all the ESPN, prognosticators, who their picks for the playoff teams are going to be, and not one of them had any of these 4 in the playoffs.
None of them.
Really?
Not one.
Yeah.
I wonder how Brett Ciancia
Did
did
they
this
do that
year.
just at the start of the season? When did they make those choices?
Yeah.
At the start of the
Start of
season,
the
everyone
season.
was
Oh.
picking your Ohio States, your Texas, your Clemson's, and all those things. They were all
Insane.
not one of them had any of these. So yeah, that shows you, the quality that you get from the major outlets. Nothing quite like you get in a local fan podcast. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
So, but there were a few interesting takes out of it. This playoff. One thing I saw, and it's kind of interesting. There were some people posting stuff about how Indiana, why they were successful, and a lot of people were quasi complaining that it's their players are older because they're getting portal talent, and these guys have played for so many years and seasons, and they were comparing them to like Alabama, and some guy was saying their players average like 23 and ours are 19, and it was kind of interesting because that brought to mind a radio interview I heard a couple years ago when Oklahoma was playing here in the Frost era, and they had Barry Switzer on the radio. He might have been semi-drunk, but that's fine.
Oh, most likely.
Most likely. But he had brought up the point that why Nebraska was so tough to play back in his era is with the roster size Nebraska had, the management, the depth that it had, and the walk-on program. It's that he had said, and I never looked up the stats to see if it was true, but he said like Oklahoma's average age of their starters was 19-something years old, and Nebraska's was 22.
Yeah.
So it's like Indiana's found out how to kind of replicate part of Nebraska's success back in the day by having, those mature players that are skilled and, they're a step away from the NFL versus, the young hot talent, but they're freshmen and sophomores. So it's kind of, I'll be interested to see how that goes. If they can keep that going, that kind of is in a weird way, kind of a mirror of what Nebraska used to be. It just happens to be in the NIL portal era, and maybe they figured that out.
Yeah, get old, stay old.
Yep, exactly.
That's where it's at.
And that seems to work for basketball, oddly enough.
Yeah. Wonderful segue there, Boomer.
How'd you like that
I
setup?
had a segue all ready to go. That was better.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was good. That was good.
Let's see if we can actually launch this.
Old people on basketball, huh?
Here we go. Nebraska ball. Last time we were this good, Danny Nee was the coach, and we do have an old team. Boomer, hey, did you ever think you'd live to see the day that we are, somebody actually put us on the 2 line today? That was Mike DeCourcy, actually.
Mike DeCourcy did.
We're 15-0.
There's actually somebody that put us on the 1 line, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, Boomer is sniffing glue right now. He doesn't. He's hallucinating.
Might as well be. Yeah.
It's all right. Hey, Boomer, if you need something better, hit me up.
Okay. Well, we can DM me after the show. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, this is crazy. Yeah, I can't ever have imagined. In all your years of Husker fandom as a basketball, fan, if I'd ever thought this would be a thing, it's just wishful thinking at that point, or just a pie in the sky type thing. There's no way in hell I ever would have thought us 15-0. Talking top 3-2 seeds. No. So
4 or 5 would be like, I'd be like, you're crazy. 2, I'd be like, bruh, like, what are you on, and can I have some? Like, and do you want to go on a golf trip with me and honky? If
it's the truth. Last night's game is another example where this team doesn't even play that well, I don't think. and still finds a way to win.
Yeah.
And I keep telling Honky that they are going to lose. We're not going to go undefeated.
Yeah.
We haven't seen an undefeated team since 1976. We're not going to be the next. I'll tell you that. But that's okay. And so when I'm watching a game like the last night's game against Ohio State, I'm just talking to myself like, it's okay if they lose. I don't think they're going to lose, but it's okay if we lose. But then I'm like thinking to myself, like, I want to stockpile every single win we can get because we'll eventually lose at some point, and I want to have as good of a seat as possible. And if we can keep on winning these games, every win's going to count, right? And so we're not too far away from getting to the point where we're 18, 19-0. And even if we lose to Michigan, we're only going to slip like a spot or two because the resume is already there, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So, Rob, this is something that you're an Arizona fan. You're used to talking about seed lines and, how to actually be a one seed. I mean, what does this feel like for you?
It's actually pretty interesting because I do. Nebraska ball has been one of those teams and much like you would like your Carolina, right? Like Nebraska ball is like the passion, but we kind of like look at it and we're like, okay, well, we also have these other teams that we've been rooting for our entire lives as well, right? Like where for whatever sick reason, I picked up Arizona in like 1985 as a team I was rooting for, and Nebraska has just never been there. So now watching them and I'm thinking to myself, God, the nightmare scenario for me is like Nebraska being in the same bracket as Arizona and then, as like a 2 seed and meeting up in, the grade 8, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
We'll cross
like
that bridge when we get there.
Oh my God.
The bigger nightmare is being like Nebraska is like a 11 seed and like you're playing Arizona, North Carolina in a, second round, right? Like, I don't care. I'm not worried about that one bit.
I'm not because at this point, Arizona, if Nebraska and Arizona end up playing each other at any point in the tournament at this point right now, Nebraska is like in the Sweet 16 there, you know what I mean? Maybe in the grade 8, probably won't be the final four.
To get resuscitated.
The odds that I got, like I took the stupidest parlay that I put together like earlier this year, and it was Indiana to win the national championship and the Huskers to make the Final Four. And on a $20 bet, I'll make like $4,500. You know what I mean? Because Nebraska's odds were just so great to do that. You go back now,
you can find that bet.
Yeah, and like you go back now. And if you try to put Nebraska in the Final Four, and the odds are like so much better, and I'm going like, what reality are we living in here? And one of the things, though, I think that most importantly, we can start talking about some of the individual plays, right? Like, Hoiberg, I know he's the coach's son, but he is legitimately like the guy. He is the, Tominaga of this team, I'm going to say, right? Like he is the guy that kind of is the guy that every announcer for every game talks about. Oh. It's like every time that they get on the field, they talk about like Hoiberg and being the guy. I mean, I know Mass is the big scorer guy. I know that Bayuk-Dengel is just a name they probably just want to say. But Hoiberg is the guy that like every time it's like the hustle play. He's the guy diving for the ball. He's getting the steals. He's averaging, only 8 points a game. He averages 5 rebounds. He averages right around 4 assists a game. But, it's like, it feels like he's always stepping up in the key moments on a steal or on a nice assist down the court, like at the end, like against Ohio State, right? He had that key steal at the end of the game that took us from being up 2 to being up, I think it was being up 5. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that he's doing out on that court that are making a huge difference, right? And it's just entertaining to watch him running around in circles out there, playing hard, grabbing the rebounds that nobody else on the team seems to be, grabbing in situations where you wouldn't expect anyone to get one.
Yeah. So, yeah, I hear you, Rob. Abbie, I appreciate that look you gave Rob when he compared.
I was waiting. I was going to need the explanation because
Rob defended it quite well. Actually, he backed it up and actually dug himself out of that hole. I let him do it, and he did a great job. But I appreciate the look because I've done that look many times.
It was.
I saw the look for the record. Yeah,
it was a weak link, but I guess we'll take it. Yeah.
Well,
I think it's a better link than I normally get from Rob, so I appreciate it. I get it. I mean, they do always want to talk about Sam because every coach, opposing coach, talks about him.
Yes,
and he is kind of the glue. That's a little bit different than Casey, but everyone, the announcers always would talk about Tominaga. So I get it.
Did you guys
Abbie,
know he's
who do you want to?
Did you know that? Did you know he's the coach's son?
I didn't know
you know
that. Really? I just thought it was a coincidence.
It's literally their favorite thing to say. They talk about
brother
it. They're like,
on the staff.
He's on the staff too. Yeah. It's
Well, Boomer. So we've got Indiana on Saturday. We finally have a little bit of a break here, but it's on the road again. Indiana is no slouch, but it's definitely another game that is gettable. And then we've got a few more games that might be a little bit easier. I don't think in the Big Ten you
can't say
rest.
that.
look at Michigan tonight. They almost lost to Penn State in a completely empty gym there in Happy Valley. So every game they'll be after
Minnesota
us, right, Abbie? Say it again.
What's up?
Minnesota beat Iowa?
Oh yeah, Minnesota beat Iowa. Yeah,
and they had the cutest little court storm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're looking. We want to avoid that court storm. That's for certain.
The game that worries me is maybe Oregon coming up in the next few games. Oregon is the one that as they aren't having the year.
Another look from Abbie. I'm loving this.
I know, but as a team that's not playing as well as they can, Oregon is a school too that pumps a lot of money into their players, right? And like the recruiting is usually up there, so it's. I don't know. I
they do
look at that one
this year. They will, but so
they did just lose to Rutgers.
Yeah,
and Rutgers is really bad.
Yeah, they did.
I'm just
kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, Iowa just lost to Minnesota. Minnesota's not very good either.
They're better than Rutgers. Rutgers is really bad.
It's the Big Ten. Like Dave said, you can't take any of these games for granted. This Indiana game, I know Indiana's a football school, but it'll be tricky to kind of go into that and win that. If we're going to lose a game in the near future, that one would not shock me at all. 11 a.m. I think it is, so kind of a morning game in Indiana. That'll be tough. But
we've done a lot of these shows where I had to talk Honky through the idea that it's hard to win on the road in the Big Ten, and he's like, I'm telling you, look it up. Not even the good teams win that many games on the road. The fact that we've already taken 2 against quality opponents is awesome, right? So this is
that's a big thing too. I mean, and it's like the remainder of our road games once we get past essentially Indiana. That's in Iowa towards the end of the season. It's not the tougher end of the Big Ten. So if you're going to play a lot of the Big Ten bottom feeders, get them on the road. So those wins might count for something. You have a better chance to get those road wins. Because we still have Illinois at home, Purdue's at home. Who else do we play at home?
There should be some fun.
Maryland, Penn State. We get Iowa twice. So
Washington, Illinois, Purdue.
Yeah, so you got a good chance for some other big wins at home yet with Illinois and Purdue, and then you just win some of those road games against some of the lower tier of the Big Ten, and that really helps that schedule, that line that you're going to get, and take it game by game. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself.
At Michigan, obviously.
That's
that's tough.
I'm having a hard time versus Purdue at home. I feel a little better about that because it's at home. Iowa, that's not going to be easy, right?
No.
And then the road trip, Southern Cal to Southern California versus USC and UCLA. It's and then Iowa. We finish I don't know. I just those are it's not easy to go play in LA. Right?
No.
Ever. It's a West Coast trip. It's 10 o'clock at night is one of the games, 10 o'clock Central Time. So it's and then you come back and 5 days later, you got to play Iowa, to finish up the regular season. I think it is at home. So, there you go. It's there. It is not easy. If we lose 4 or 5 games in league this year, I'm not going to be mad. Right. How many games are left? I haven't even counted.
16 games left.
16 games left.
Easy math.
If they go 11-5, I'm happy, right?
You'd be 26-5.
I know. We may never see that again in our lifetime from Nebraska.
That's 15-5 in conference.
Yeah.
That's
good enough to win the conference too. And most years, So
most years, I don't know.
Michigan, man, those guys.
Body numbers.
But that's easily a second place finish in conference, if nothing else. Heck, you win 12 games in the conference, you're probably 6th or 7th. So I mean, you're
Yeah, you get 15.
First round bye in the tournament, right? Like, isn't it?
Oh, in the Big Ten,
Big Ten tournament,
a double bye.
Yeah.
Double
Yeah,
bye.
like that would just
We'd get a double. We'd be a top 4 seed
that'd be
in the
that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That's I it's weird talking about it, right? Because normally we're talking about a first round matchup in that tournament.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just looking like 15 wins won you the Big Ten back in 2022-23. So I mean, so it's
Crazy.
What
are we doing here? Like,
I don't know. I don't even know how to talk this good about basketball. What you got, Dave? Yeah. So.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, we just talked about how Indiana as a football team got old fast. We're trying to get old. This basketball team is old. It's experienced. I think Hoiberg has, obviously fine-tuned his recipe for success, recruiting-wise as well as philosophy-wise. How can, I guess 2 questions. One, how did everyone get this team so wrong, right? And this is picked to finish 14th in the league or something like that.
14th.
And how can Hoiberg then sustain this, going forward? Because he is going to lose a lot of seniors. But you can kind of see what he's trying to do with bringing in bigs from, the international scene and building around that. So, yeah, I mean, how did everyone get this so wrong, and how is he going to keep it up?
Well, how everyone got it wrong is this is Nebraska ball we're talking about. I mean, you don't even have to do any research. It's just pick them somewhere towards the bottom half. You're probably right. I mean, you have other schools to worry about in the Big Ten, so other programs to think about. So that was understandable. And, it did have a lot of questions coming in. You lose guys like Tominaga and all that. You weren't sure how good Mast was going to be coming off an injury. He was a good player, but, how was he going to be? And how are all these pieces going to fit together? And so I think it was a perfectly fair assumption that they weren't going to be, great to start the year, because how could you predict that? So, I mean, I don't think any of us would have seen this coming. Yeah.
And especially with like being unsure of how Mast was going to be coming back this year. Like, I think it was really close to the start of the season, and they were just like, well, we hope he's okay. Like, he's just at the end of his knee, rehab and stuff. And so I think that's also a huge question mark of like what he was going to look like. And I think as much as Sam is the glue guy and all of that, like this team and what Fred wants to run and his offense and defense, I think the whole team runs through somebody like a Rank Mast. And so when he is at his best, this is Nebraska ball, right? We had that with Derek Walker. He was so, and then you surround him with shooters and other people who can play. And you've got a team that can like make some noise, make some waves. I think we've gotten really, I don't want to say fortunate, but I think we've just found a really good combination of sharpshooters and 3-point merchants. We did before Connor got hurt, right? And then I think you've got Sam Hoiberg, who has just improved every year that he's been on the team in ways that maybe he still got underestimated coming into this season. But I think it all hinges on Rank Mast. And I think if we want this to continue, the hope is that like we get far enough into the season, if there's somebody out there who's just like, I could do that. Like, that's what I want to. If we have to go portaling, we can find another Derek Walker, another Rank Mast, something like that. I think that's me, the key to this continued success is just continuing to find that player.
Yeah. Well, it's nice too when you get a guy like, last night with like Frager being the leading scorer with 15 points, and he didn't hit a single three. He was 0 for 2 from the 3-point line, right? And but we're making our free throws. We're 14 from 17 from the line. I know, like, I think at one point we tweeted out like free throws, make your free throws. That was probably Boomer and his because we missed the one at the end of the game and it was so close. But at the same time, like, that's actually been kind of strength for this team this year, really. And when you see the scoring is so spread out in a game like last night, it's easy to say like, oh, they had an off night. Well, this team bases its play off of defense. I think I've been saying that all along, right? Like another team that they held under 40% shooting, which is really, really key, especially in the Big Ten, right? And then the scoring was spread out. I mean, Mast had 12, Lawrence had 11, Sanford had 11, Hoiberg had 8, Bayuktin Gel, I love saying that name, had 8. Frager had 15, and then you get Jared Garcia, who hit a huge 3-pointer in the beginning, and And then Cale Jacobson had 3 points in like 18 minutes of play, right? But like that guy's a defensive merchant, right? Like he's out there doing it. And then every now and then he lights it up and he scores 10, 12 points. So it's like, it's nice to see that kind of, what's the word? Like parity within its own team, right? Like, I mean,
Sure,
when other players aren't playing their best, they can bring it back. One other comparison I want to make, and it makes me laugh, is Mast is reminding me more and more almost of like from an NBA perspective, like Jokic, right? Like where you if you leave him outside that 3-point line at all because you think like, okay, I'm going to keep him, from playing down in the post, he'll throw that 3 up and just sink it. And it seems like he makes those threes at like some of the most key moments. Like last night, that 3 that he hit with like 4 minutes left in the game, that was kind of like, okay, he hasn't been hitting that shot all night. Don't take that shot. Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, take that shot. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even just like almost made it. That was like a 3 that like it didn't even touch the rim. So it's so different. I think, Dave, you said at one point in our chat, you just said this team is different. And it's almost like, can we print those shirts yet? You know what I mean? Like, 2026 Husker basketball, this team is different.
I told Honky, like Mast he is no longer learning to play basketball. He is playing basketball. And I don't know if he has the physical attributes to be NBA, but he will have a long career in Europe, if not, and have a lot of success there because
also
Mast
just like I was telling Dustin, like when his playing days are done and wherever that ends, he's going to be a really good coach because you can just see the way that he interacts with players on the team and all in the highs and the lows and through all of it. Like you can tell his basketball IQ is so high, and not just like when to shoot, where to shoot, but just like the whole game. He just has such a good, like high level view of the game and is like clearly smart. And he has a degree in like physics. Like what a nerd, but like, so he's so smart. He's so kind in that way towards his teammates to like get them to where they need to be mentally. I'm so impressed with him. And like, I don't know. I think as much praise as Sam gets and as much as he deserves, I keep going back to like Rink is the guy this year. And if he's not on the first 10 Big Ten team, I think we burn Evan. Where are they at? Chicago, Rosemont. We burn it to the ground and have
Chicago. There's a whole thing about Chicago fires, Abby. I don't know if we want to do that again.
Well, they're not in Chicago. True. They're in Rosemont, which is slightly different. And I can tell you that
that's fair.
Many Ubers.
Damn Chicago suburbs.
To your point, Abby, Fred had a great interview on it was a CBS sports podcast with John Rothstein, who still is doubling down on the fact that he's going to come to Lincoln and buy a round for everyone in a bar if we win a game in the tournament. But Fred was talking about Rink, and he's like, we lost him last year, and that was a big impact. And he said that, if Rink Mast was on last year's team, he felt like that was a Sweet 16 team. And with Bryce Williams, et cetera, I'm like, yeah, I get it, right? And we might have a Sweet 16 team this year, right? And it's because of how well Mast runs this offense.
It's fun watching him like clear guys out. You know what I mean? He gets the ball down there and he's just kind of like pushing dudes away, like telling them to clear, to go one-on-one. He gets doubled, kicks the ball out. We hit a 3. Like that's basketball. You know what I mean? That's like fun to watch, playing that inside out game. And then just watching these guys get back on defense, just locking down, other teams. I don't know, man. It's so much fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and
offensively, really fun to watch too.
Yeah. And I think you'd ask the question, Dave. How do they keep this going forward? And I think a school or a program like Nebraska does have an opportunity. With this kind of philosophy that we seem to have embraced, the whole getting old thing. I think you've got a good chance where if you can identify those players who are kind of towards the end of their college career, they're good players, but they're not really NBA talent yet at this point. They want to keep playing though, and they're not ready to move to Podgorica. No offense to our listeners in Montenegro, and play ball there. But I think there's an opportunity for a team like Nebraska that can identify those players that are older and still have talent, and you can build a team around that. Maybe taking the Indiana approach to basketball to some degree or another.
Especially with eligibility these days.
Yes,
These European players, they can play professionally over there. Now they can just come over here and play in college. So no big deal.
So we can be on the forefront of that. So why not? Somebody has to be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more direct flights from Lincoln to Frankfurt and London, and we're set. So
right. And we have.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I go back and I think about the one change that probably brought this on, and it was Fred making changes to his coaching staff. Right. It was identifying who wasn't meshing with what he wanted and figuring out how to, I don't want to say get those. There's one guy, right? There was one guy who was not one guy, but there was a guy who was really big on their recruiting staff and just like wasn't getting the guys that Fred needed. And I don't remember his name. I remember reading articles. What was it? Yeah. And I mean, I remember reading an article after he was let go, and he was really mad, right? Like he was really bitter about it. And he was just like, "Oh, I was so good at identifying talent and blah." And it's just like, maybe, yeah, but like you weren't good in what we wanted. And I think even that, if we talk about like how do we keep this up moving forward, similar to Indiana, I hate saying that, but you don't have to find like the 5 stars, right? You just have to find the people who work in the system, because it's basketball. At the end of the day, it's basketball, right? Like you don't have to be from Duke to be a good basketball player. So we don't have to look for those guys when we go to recruit. You just need the guys who fit the mentality that you want in your basketball team, and that coaching staff, players, assistants, all of that. And it feels like Fred's gotten closer and closer to that over the last few years, right? And it seems like he's really there now. This seems like the team that Fred Hoiberg has wanted in terms of their talent and knowing their roles and defense and all of that.
And the more you win, the more guys that fit your system who are better basketball players will want to come to play for you, right? I mean, Nebraska's facilities for basketball are really second to none. I mean, Pinnacle Bank Arena is just a gorgeous facility. Like, if I know most Husker fans here have either been there or seen it and see what it's like, but Husker fans are unmatched. I mean, it gets to the point to where, you've got other coaches still trying to say like there's nothing else to do in Nebraska. But, it's like we pack that place, whether the team is good or bad, right? Because everybody wants to see, the best upset ever, right? And then you just keep winning like this, and some of those guys are going to want to come, right? Recruiting gets a little easier, and some of those players that fit your system that are better basketball players that are those 4 and 5 star players will want to come here, right? So we already have gotten 5 stars in the past, right? Wasn't Bryce Williams a 5-star? So I mean,
McGowan.
That was it. McGowan. Yeah.
Bryce was a transfer from Charlotte. I don't know what his.
He was, but you know what? He was pretty highly ranked. And I think Derek was too when he came over. Yeah. I don't think he was a 4, but you're right. That's just additive to it.
Yeah. So I think the point of making sure we're getting the guys that fit the system is what we're really trying to get at here. And wherever those guys are coming from, that's regardless, right? But I think Bryce Sanford's a good example where, his brothers had great success at Iowa. He was kind of pigeonholed as a 3-point specialist, and he's proven that he's more than that within this offense. And so it's another good example of the right fit program and player. So.
Yeah, and you even have his brother. You even have his brother like supporting him online, like saying Huskers,
so
and like
hard.
He's trying so hard not to do it, and he's just like, okay, I'm going to support the Huskers.
It's funny, Hoiberg actually knows the Sanders family really closely, and was never able to land one of them out of high school, and so it seems like a little bit of sweet justice that we finally got one to come here because they've known each other for a long time.
Man, that's what
I think
all right, guys. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, maybe we could talk about the women. They're 13-2.
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about like teams that know their identity, I think again, Amy's done a great job of that. And I know her and Fred have talked a lot about building all of that. We can if you want. I mean, I know it's less exciting because they're not undefeated and they have lost 2 games now in a row, but
They
they've
bounced
been in
back, though. They're still ranked.
It's hard to win on the road in the in the Big Ten. It doesn't matter if
They
it's
also-
men's or women's sports. And
They also lost at home though, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean those games were all both like really close and really competitive, regardless of what the final score was. So let me go through it. So USC we lost 66-74. Iowa we lost 76-86. Those final scores don't really represent what that game looked like start to finish, I think, and I don't think that's coping. I think that's just like the reality is like those games were really close down to kind of the end, and then as things do, sometimes fouls and things like that kind of get away from you. But yeah, they weren't. Women only do top 5 preseason, I think, and we weren't in that, and we may not end there. But I think there's a bunch of the women that just like the men's Big Ten is stacked, and there's a ton of teams that are ranked. There's a ton of women. I think it's like 9 teams are in the top 25 from the Big Ten right now. We rounded out at 25th. We fell a few spots to 25th this week, but we also host Indiana on Thursday at PBA. Then we have UCLA on Sunday at PBA, and then we do a few road games, one to Michigan State, one to Wisconsin. So a couple tricky games, some possible wins in there. I think if we could go 3-1 over that would be really great. USC is going to be tough to beat, but that's what happens when you have like a 10-foot center. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Lauren Betts is just really good. Like, the reality is that she's just really good, and they have other really good players too. It's not just her, but
Yeah,
Has Amy
USC's
thought about
deep,
recruiting
right?
that girl out of China that's like 7'5", like 300 pounds, but she's like she looks like she literally looks like a woman version of Shaq. It's crazy. Like, yeah, she puts her arms up and she can touch the rim. It's insane. Like, I was watching some video of her last night, and they were saying how she could very easily end up like playing college in the United States.
Let me get this
somewhere in
correct.
a year or
Rob is
two.
watching video of a 7'5", 300-pound Chinese woman.
Yeah, playing basketball. Yes,
we
yeah.
don't judge. We don't judge on the red.
Yeah.
We don't judge.
Yeah.
That's fine. Rob.
Is that what we're doing now?
This is a trust
Are we
ring.
kink shaming now, Dave? Is that where we're at in our
We don't do
relationship?
that here.
Yeah. I mean, come on now.
Uh,
Yeah. So
But yeah, so a little less exciting because they are no longer undefeated, but still playing really well, still ranked.
and they make the tournament all the time. I mean, jeez, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I saw something again. If we were talking about, there was something on Reddit that was this was before Michigan State that somebody was just like, Fred Hoiberg's the best coach at the University of Nebraska, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
Not yet. Like, not yet. I understand where this excitement is coming from. Not yet. We've had some other coaches that have like slightly more sustained success. And so I love giving Amy her props because this is the women's team is, they've never been super flashy. We don't get super far in the tournament, but they do kind of consistently get to the postseason. And I think that's really worth talking about is what she's been able to do consistently. And should get I'm just really hoping we get Natalie Potts back soon. She's been really missed on the floor. I think I think the Iowa game for sure, if we had a Maya and Natalie for those games, Maya was in concussion protocol following the USC game where she was lightly grazed in the face a couple of times. So we didn't have her for the Iowa game, and that kind of hurt. But I feel like
that sounds like a.
she got hit in the head twice. Quite hard. I was at that game. I covered that game, and you could hear it. You heard her get smacked in the face, and it was a thing where like she got smacked in the face. They continued playing, and then she committed a foul. So like USC got to shoot their two free throws. They reviewed it, decided yes, there was a flagrant. So then we got to shoot 2, and it was like, but they should never have shot 2 because she got hit in the face before that. It was a whole thing. Like, it was a whole thing, and apparently the rules have changed. It doesn't matter. But the point is, anyway, yes, then the response from USC was just like, oh, she wasn't hit that hard. She was flopping. She was a light graze. People don't go into concussion protocol for light grazes. So anyway, that being said, team's good. Team's really fun. If you get a chance to go to PBA, the tickets are cheap. I mean, I took my family, we spent $30 on 4 tickets. So it's cheap,
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
fun. There's lots of seats available. It's a good team. They're an explosive team. We should support them as much as we support the guys basketball team. They're just as exciting with their shooting, which is always
Awesome.
fun to see. Yeah. So shout out to them. I think I don't think they get the attention that they maybe deserve, but I'm biased. And then
Let's have two deep tournament runs this year, right?
let's just be a full-on
That'd be
Nebraska ball school.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that we'll say,
There we go.
we kind of talked
There we
about
go.
before the show, is just a shout out that volleyball has had no transfer outs in the window. So volleyball has 2 transfer windows. The first one is closed and we didn't have anybody leave. That's great. I think they all said they're coming back too. So I don't anticipate having any in the spring. But that's 2 years in a row now that Danny has not lost a single player to the portal, which is very impressive in any sport.
Great. Yep. Talk about staying and getting old, right? I mean, that's, you keep that type of experience and bench. They're definitely going to learn from this year. So very cool. All right, guys. Anything else? We good? Ready for some parting shots, Rob?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's throw that up. All right, let's get out of here. And Rob, I'll start with you.
Yeah, first off, Happy New Year to all of you Redcasters out there. I just want to give you a heads up for any of our listeners that are living here in Colorado or feel like they want to make the drive out. Coloradans for Nebraska tomorrow night are throwing a party for Andy Jackson in Brighton. It's going to be at the Copper Rail Bar starting at 6:30 Mountain Time. We'd love for you all to attend. Come on out. It is not only being thrown by Coloradans for Nebraska, but Aloe Fiber, my employer, and t-shirt namesake here tonight, coming from a work event, is going to be doing a sponsor there because she is one of our NIL athletes as well. So it's a pretty cool opportunity to come out and maybe bring your daughters and meet one of their heroes. Bring your sons, maybe meet one of their heroes. I know we've got, I think I'm going to try to bring one of my daughters, but that's kind of hard on a school night down in Brighton. But Dave, you live right in Denver. It's only like a 20-minute drive from your house to get there. It's just head up Colorado to 85 and you'll be right there. Bring the girls out for a little bit. Yeah. Bring the girls out for a little bit. Bring Katie and love to see you there.
All right. Maybe I'll do that. Abby, what do you got?
Let's echo Rob. Happy New Year. Let's have a great 2026. It's going to be, I think, a really fun year for us. My parting shot is just to learn to enjoy these things as they come, enjoy the season as it comes, regardless of how anything ends. At the end of the season, just don't look too far ahead. We're 15-0 in basketball. That's amazing. We're 13-2 in women's basketball. That's amazing. Just enjoy this while it's here. It's fun to talk about, tournament lines and who we might play and where we might go. And is this the year and all of this? But I think just one thing that we've maybe learned from football being let down at the end of the year and getting really burnt out is enjoy these things as they're here.
Absolutely. Very, very wise. All right, Boomer, get us out of here.
Yeah, I guess, first thing, just, as this portal time's going on, it's, everyone just be excited, kind of enjoy it. Just remember everyone we're getting out of the portal is a proven winner and guaranteed to improve the team. And everyone you miss on or that left is somebody you didn't want and we'd cooled on anyway and clearly wasn't the best fit for us. So, so go ahead and start drinking the Kool-Aid now. We can get the banner ready for the off-season national championship. Might as well lay that groundwork early. And, I just wanted to remind you, I know the games have already been played, but for those people that kind of cooled on or may have soured on, college sports with NIL and portal and things like that, there are other levels of sports to watch. These last couple of days, we had the D3 football tournament, the FCS, D2. I sat down and watched the entire D3 football championship game, played in beautiful downtown Canton, Ohio, in early January, which is a, huge tourist location, all right, kids, get in the car. We're going to Canton, that kind of stuff. And,
well, that's what Football Hall of Fame is.
Yeah, exactly. But still, you're playing outdoors, in Canton in early January. And, if you really want to see players that are just playing because they want to play football, or playing a sport, that's kind of a fun way to watch it, because not all those guys are, Trinidad Chambliss. They're not going to be, being on Ole Miss next year, going to the playoffs. Those are, they're not getting scholarships. They're there to play. Crowd of a couple thousand there. They're not transferring every year either. And, a lot of some of these championship games were fun to watch. A lot of smaller schools. Just, go out and enjoy sports. They're there if you want to find them. If you're turned off by one thing, step away for a little while and, find a way to enjoy it still. There's plenty of opportunities.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, enjoyed the show. Learned a little bit. Got that transfer talk out of the way. We can talk Nebraska basketball all night. So that was awesome. Yeah, let's do it again sometime. All right. For now, let's call that another Go Big Redcast.
Go Big Red.
A Herd at Sports Network production.